feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
I like how he says game over when it's just getting started. It's our Talk Your Team Tuesday here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3. It's you can see from behind me, I'm back in the SGA TV offices and got another meeting at 1:30. Big things in the works, so stay tuned. Some stuff coming up for the lunch break and other shows. So just keep it locked in. Again, I'll be jumping off of this show and going right into a meeting. So it didn't make sense to try and do it in the JM&E studio and then try to run through traffic all the way up here to the studio. So again, I borrowed the office that I was in before. Got a little light beside me so you can see me a little bit better. But again, it is Talk Your Team Tuesday. So what y'all got going on? I know what I've got going on. One of the best athletes ever. Greatest of all time, not just in her sport, but I'm talking about in all sports, is calling it quits after the U.S. Open. Talking about Serena Williams. She announced that she will be retiring after the U.S. Open coming up on the 29th in New York. She's 40 years old. She says she's looking forward to what's next. She's been playing tennis since 1995. I told y'all for decades, this woman has been on top of the game. Won 23 Grand Slams titles, one off of the most all-time, and was on top of the WTA rankings for 186 consecutive weeks. That is a record. So Serena Williams deciding to call it quits after all those years. I'm going to go on record. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. For me, greatest athlete all time, Serena Williams. I know there's some that say Jim Thorpe. I know there's some that say other athletes, but none of those guys can say they won one of the highest championships in the sport while being pregnant. And I have to factor that in. So I want to hear your thoughts. Greatest athlete of all time, any sport now, not just in basketball. We know who that is. Greatest athlete of all time, football. We know who that is. Greatest athlete of all time in soccer or baseball, all kinds of arguments, but greatest athlete all time across all sports. Who you got? I got Serena Williams. And again, my trump card, my card that I lick and put on my forehead and set you when you're trying to make your books. She won a Grand Slam while she was pregnant. Tom Brady never did that. Michael Jordan never did that. Joe Montana, Joe Montana had the flu, ate some chicken noodle soup. Michael Jordan had the flu and went off for like 100,000 points. I get that. Pregnant, though, carrying another human being inside you, and won the tournament, not just any tournament, but a Grand Slam tournament. Mike Patton, touring the AFC South. First of all, welcome back from the NABJ, bro. You did it all up there. I was watching you, man. I was proud of you. Wish I could have been there, man. I'm telling you. I know it would have been a great time. Mike Patton, touring the AFC South, said Serena got the big joker with winning a tournament while pregnant. See, that's a spades player right there. Where's Kelsey Nicole Nelson? Where's my little sister? She keeps wanting me to teach her how to play spades. And baby girl, you cannot learn how to play spades on the fly. You cannot learn that over a weekend. You got to get in there. You got to figure it out. You got to understand strategy and all that. But the big joker, like Mike Patton is talking about, that's what Serena Williams got. Keith Hennig, what's going on, my brother? So, yeah, I got Serena Williams on top of it all. You can argue with me if you want to, but I just want to hear, who's your greatest athlete of all time? Any sport. Don't give me one sport. Oh, well, the greatest athlete in baseball is no. All sports, across all genres. I'm listening. Hit me. Mike Patton, who's your pick? Greatest athlete of all time. Who you got? Keith Hennig, greatest athlete of all time, any sports. Who you got? Erica, greatest athlete all time, any sport. Who you got? I'm sticking with Serena. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There will be plenty of time for counting when the deal is done. I'm holding them with Serena. I'm holding them in poker. I'm holding them in spades. I'm holding them in bid whist. Because, again, give me somebody who can trump that. Well, the dude was pregnant. The dude was pregnant and he won the Super Bowl. Who was that? Let me know who that is. Keith Hennig knows good athletics. He says, no argument, Serena Williams is the best of all time. Now, don't just say it because I say it. I want a little discourse. I want a little smoke today. I'm going to post it. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to post it on the Twitter, which is blowing up, by the way, over the I said I was going to just leave this alone today, but I can't help it. President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence was they executed a search warrant on the property, apparently looking for classified documents that were not supposed to be taken from the White House. They were, and there was a time frame that they were supposed to be returned. They weren't. So people say that Trump was cooperating with the Department of Justice and the FBI and those folks. Apparently, he wasn't cooperating fast enough, so they came, knocked on that door. They came and no-knock warranted him and went through and got several boxes and documents and even went through a safe. And there are people that are losing their ever-loving minds. There are elected officials that are threatening the DOJ and threatening, just high-ranking officials in the government. Like, I'm serious. I have never seen this stuff in my life, and I've been around for a minute. I've been watching The First Ladies. Have y'all watched that on Showtime? I've been watching The First Ladies, and I was around for a lot of that. I mean, I wasn't old. I was around for a lot of it. And I'm just like, man, some of the stuff that we saw back then, there's a parallel, but it wasn't as deep. So, yeah, man, there's some folks that are really taking this hard. Man, I tell you, thoughts and prayers, Marjorie Taylor Greene, thoughts and prayers, to all of the Freedom Caucus of Congress, thoughts and prayers out to you because they are upset, man. Good God Almighty, they upset. One person we haven't heard from is Mitch McConnell. How upset is he? Where's the Speaker of the House? Where he at? Well, he's not the Speaker of the House anymore. Well, where he at though? He ain't said nothing. So anyway, I won't get into that. Who's your greatest athlete of all time? Mine, Serena Williams. Yours is who? Who you got? It's funny to me though. It's funny because when it's Trump, it's that they've done the worst thing in the world. When it's a unarmed black man sleeping on a sofa and the police break in and start yelling da 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 da, and the black man defends his home and gets shot. Well, he should have complied. So So anyway, Jim Thorpe is close though. Okay, so Keith Hennig said Jim Thorpe is close to being the best athlete of all time. Wilma Rudolph gets some votes as well. Wilma Rudolph gets some votes as well. When you look at everything that she did as an athlete, she gets some votes as well. The decathlon athletes get votes for me because they run through many sports. They run through many different events just to be out on top. So those get some votes for me. Jackie Joyner-Kersee is one that comes to mind as one of the greatest athletes of all time. All right, got to take this break. Somebody just told me stop being political. All right, whatever. All right, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment, streaming live on Roku, courtesy of BS3. Be right back.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV, and you will thank me because you can see that Cole Sports with a Z. And Ben Sutter III, I know you're listening. I wasn't playing when I say if you don't get me a sizzle reel, or at least connected to somebody who can get me a sizzle reel like Cole Johnson, I'm telling you, man, I'm going to put on that Washington Commanders shirt, and on the shirt will be Dan Snyder kissing the BS3 logo. So you don't want that. You don't want that. Hook me up. Hook me up. Mike Patton say, what I miss? I heard you giving thoughts and prayers to the January 6th folks. Yeah, man, they hurting today, man. They hurting today because them people went through that man's stuff, and he ain't knock on the door. They ain't knock on the door, and they didn't ask him, can we please come in and get back the classified documents that you took illegally from the White House? Can we please have that back? We've been waiting, but your phone has been, you haven't been answering your phone. So they hurting today, man. And I mean, just for real, man, just be thoughtful and prayerful about, the Marguerite Taylor Greens, Lorraine Bobbitt's, Broberts, and all them folks, man. Just look out for them, man. It's tough out there right now. It's hard out there in the streets, bro. Ben say you're working on it. Okay, man, I got it up now. I posted it up. It's recorded in time forever. Y'all see Ben Sutter III said he's working on a sizzle reel for me like Cole Johnson's. Man, that thing is fire. I'm about to play that again, man. This thing is fire. What?
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. Be
Man, look, that thing is fire. That thing, I'm gonna start getting requests for, hey, can you play that Cole Sports sizzle reel, please? Hey, this is Johnny from Philly. Can you play that Cole Sports sizzle reel, please? I've been waiting on it. You know what I mean? That thing is that fire. That's what that is. That's absolute fire. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So, all right, Ben. All right, you on the clock, bro. Ben's like, man, I just met you like 2 weeks ago. Now you demanding sizzle reels and stuff like that. Mike Patton 112. Yeah, Mike, you and me both, bro. You and me both. We got to get us some sizzle reels like that, man, because that thing will make a bad show sound good. A sizzle reel like that will make a bad show sound good. So yeah, man, we got to get that. We got to get that. Mike said, I'm over here cracking up at them people. Man, I'm just telling you, man, you got to be sensitive to them people, man. Some people are not used to not getting their way. You know, some people all their life, they've gotten their way. You know, the little kids that cuss their mama out in the public and tell their mama they fat and they hate her and kick her in the shin and go run off and do whatever mom was trying to tell them. Now, some people grew up like that, man. They're not used to not getting their way. My mama would have choked the life out of me right there in front of people and swear she didn't do it and would have got off. She would have said I was having, you know, issues in my spleen. And I just, next thing I know, he was gone. Some people are just not used to not getting their way. Some people, there's rules for other people, but those rules there's always an exception to the rules when it comes to them. Yeah, I got some things to say too, and I'm really trying to keep this a family show. I got people listening that, you know, think I'm a nice guy, and I even had a listener try and call one of my sponsors and say, "Are you sure you want to be connected with a guy who thinks like this?" And I thank God for my sponsors because they were like, "Who are you, and why are you on our phone, sir? Thank you for calling, but please don't call us again." I got to get a disclaimer so that people know that when I do stuff and when I say stuff, it is not a reflection on my sponsors, my interns, my people who work behind the scenes and stuff like that. These are solely my views. So if you got a problem with my views, come to me. Come to me. You know, people cry and complain about cancel culture, but what's the first thing that they do when they don't like you? The same people that complain about cancel culture. Let me explain the cancel culture argument for those who don't understand it. Cancel culture is only cancel culture when it affects them. When it's you, you deserve it. You deserved it because you shouldn't have said what you said. You shouldn't have talked against their candidate, or you shouldn't have talked against their person. So it's not cancel culture. It's karma for you. It's cancel culture when it's them or someone that they like. So, you know, in case you wondered how that score is kept, that's how that score is kept. So anyway, Keith Hennig said, when the FBI showed up at Trump's house, I celebrated. Sorry, MAGA folks. I didn't celebrate. I felt sorry for people. I felt so bad. Yeah, I knew that, you know, little Donnie Jr., Ivanka, and that other son that I don't even think his daddy liked him, that other son. I felt bad for them. I felt bad. Somebody put a meme up that Barron was playing his video game and took his headset off and said, "The safe's back there." Oh, God. Donna Coleman Holman said, equality can sometimes feel like oppression if you are accustomed to privilege. I'm just saying, you can't use that word privilege, Donna. You're making certain kids of different cultures feel bad about themselves. You're making them feel bad about themselves. Stop that. We're not going to do that on this show. Don't come in here with that critical race theory stuff. We're not doing that. Woo! My kids are just supposed to get over racism and bigotry and slavery. But your poor little kids, they can't even know it existed because that's just going to short circuit their whole DNA. They're going to be on the corner on drugs, and you're going to be mad at me because my kids, learned about slavery. I don't get how that works. I don't get how that works. So anyway, let me stop. I'm trying to talk sports today. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. I got people listening, and they're not going to like this. So anyway, Serena Williams, Donna Coleman-Holman, who is the best athlete of all time across any sports? I got Serena Williams. Who you got? Best athlete of all time. So far, we've got Serena Williams. We got Jim Thorpe. I threw in Wilma Rudolph and Jackie Joyner-Kersee. I guess you got to include Bill Russell. Guess you got to include Bill. Who else? Well, of course, the obvious, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Who's the best football player? Any position. Who's the best football player ever? Donna said Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Bruce Jenner. Can we still say that? Are we allowed to say that? You got to call him by his. If you got to call people by their pronouns, you got to call him by his name. You can't just call him that, Keith. We're not doing that either. You're not getting my folks mad at me. Got to do it right. Who's the best athlete in football? Right now, I say Aaron Donald. Best athlete in football right now, Aaron Donald. Not Tom Brady, not, Julio Jones or running back or anybody like that. It's Aaron Donald right now. Best athlete right now in football. Who's the best athlete in baseball right now? Best athlete in baseball. Best athlete in baseball. Y'all not gonna believe what I'm gonna say. I think it's Mookie Betts. I think Mookie Betts is the best athlete in baseball right now. To me. But all time, best athlete in baseball, Keith Hennig. Oh my God. There's always this dude right here. Adam Vinatieri is the best football player in my lifetime. Are you serious? Are you being serious? Or it's Talk Your Team Tuesday, so I gotta count it if you're serious. But Adam Vinatieri, I wish Adam kicked in Indianapolis like he did in New England, because there were some kicks he missed in Indianapolis that cost them. The Colts would have had more chips if Adam Vinatieri was who he was in New England. Yeah. No, seriously, best football player all time. Reggie White, maybe? Barry Sanders? Keith said, I just wanted a reaction. At least you honest, man. That's many things I love about you. One of them is that you are an honest man. I do. I love that. I was just trying to get a rise out of you. You got it. Best basketball player all time, Jordan. Best women's basketball time. Best women's basketball player all time. Women's basketball player all time. Man, that's a tough one. I love Skylar Diggins. I love Tina Thompson. I love Lisa Leslie. I love Cheryl Swoops. Candace. Gotta love Candace. Diana Taurasi. Best women's basketball player all time. Numero Rebecca Lowe. You trying to get a reaction again. You're just trying to get another reaction because college, Lobo might have been in it. Cheryl Miller, definitely in the conversation in college. Cheryl Swoops, though, was a beast in college. And you got to give Brittany Griner some love from college, man. High school and college, she was just, I remember she outscored entire teams in high school. So, best baseball player. Y'all didn't give me nobody. I said Mookie Betts. Y'all didn't say nothing. I said Mookie. George Blanda in the NFL. Now you got something there. That's a very interesting thing. I'm gonna take a quick break. I want to come back and I want to talk about George Blanda. We'll do that next, right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and streaming live on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV.
This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to show that attainability. I want to show the accessibility of this kind of lifestyle.
From social media to having conversations with friends and family, you always have to put on face and say face.
What brings a smile to my face is the one person that totally believes in me, and that's my beautiful wife, Jody.
I just had to stop because I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And it's like, I have to learn to love myself.
Changing the world one conversation at a time. This is Revelations.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Hey, that's who's bringing us live on Roku, BS3 TV. You saw the shows there. There are a couple of new shows in the family that will be back on this coming Friday at 7:30 on Friday. It'll be Life Coaching 360 podcast with Erica Sutterth. She'll be on, and she'll have a special guest with her. And then Friday night at 10 o'clock, it's the Wise L. Jaffe and Papa J show. And that show was fire. That show was fire this past Friday night. They both made their debuts. So a lot happening in the BS3 family. Keith Hennick talked about George Blanda being one of the best athletes in the game. Not only did George Blanda play the game, but he played a long time. Blanda played a long time. Let's see. Oh, come on. George Blanda, here we go. Got in the NFL in 1949 and finished playing in 1975. Somebody do the math. He almost played 30 years, played 26 seasons in the NFL. And not only did he play that long, but he played several different positions. He was a kicker. He was a quarterback. And he retired from football in 76 as the oldest player to ever play at the age of 48. Tom Brady is what? George Blanda was 48. One of only two players to play in 4 different decades, the other being John Carney. And he holds the record for the most extra points made, 943, most extra points attempted, 959. During his career, he played under coaches like Bear Bryant, George Halas, let's see, Pop Ivy, Sammy Baugh, and John Madden. So let me tell you that one is a very real possibility for best athlete to play football. There's another name I want to throw out to you. Even though he didn't play long, he may have been the best athlete to play the game. That's Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was a ridiculous athlete. So he would have been one of the best football players to play the game, even though shortened career because of injury, and he would have been one of the best best baseball players to play because of his athletic ability. definitely because of his athletic ability. Keith Hennig, I like that other name that you threw out there too. Ricky Henderson. My gosh. I think Ricky could have played multiple different sports and been great at it. He could have played multiple different sports and been great at it. So, yeah, that's definitely a name right there. But again, for those who are just tuning in, Serena Williams announced that she is going to retire after this season's U.S. Open. That's at the 29th of August in New York. And she's 40 years old, but she's calling it quits. She's been playing since 1995. So she dominated in the late 90s. She dominated in 2000. She dominated in 2010. And she's still formidable in 2020. That's 4 decades. That's 4 decades. You got to give her a just due. And for the folks who say, "Oh yeah, greatest tennis player or greatest woman tennis player," nah, man, she one of the greatest athletes to ever suit up in anything. Notice I said one of. So if you want to argue with me, you do that by yourself. One of the greatest athletes that I've seen in my lifetime. Again, you let me know when Ricky Henderson, George Blanda, or any of these other male athletes, let me know when they won their championships while pregnant. I'm sorry. That's the deal breaker. That's the deal breaker right there. All right, Texans getting ready for their first preseason game. It's going to be this Saturday, 7 o'clock. They will welcome New Orleans to town. Jameis Winston got carted off the field yesterday in practice. He turned his ankle. So I know that they're going to be cautious with him. There, as Jameis goes, so that team will go. So you won't see Jameis Winston in that game. I'm wondering if you're going to see Davis Mills. I'm wondering if you're going to see the starting running back or wide receivers or tight ends or any of that. Donna. I'm gonna just post that and I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not gonna touch that. Yeah, I'm not. I liked Herschel at Georgia. I liked him in the USFL. Didn't like him so much in the NFL. And then I'm listen to my words. I lost track and interest of him after that. Did you hear what I said? I lost track and interest in him after he left the NFL. From a mental health perspective, I pray that he gets the help that he needs, and he needs it. It's an affront to everyone who suffers with, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder. It's an affront to them to be represented by someone who represents the way he does. I'm trying to choose my words carefully, because again, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent who feels like you ought to vote for the best person for the job, who's going to have everybody's interests at heart, not just their parties or their interests. If you're an elected official, you ought to represent the country, not just, what you think. So, yeah. Thoughts and prayers out to Herschel and his family and all his children, known and unknown, and to his son. Good Lord. Children are pretty much off base, but when his son is running around like he is, I'm talking about the oldest son, I guess. Yeah, man, it's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on in that family. A lot going on. All right. So anyway, Texans and Saints this coming Saturday, 7 o'clock Central. I'll be at the game, but I won't be looking for any of the starters. I don't expect to stay long. It's preseason, so we'll be talking to people who more than likely will not be on the team at the end of the preseason. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then the Cowboys will be in action on Saturday as well. They'll be in Denver to take on the Broncos. That'll kick off at 8 again. Don't expect to see many of the starters in that. What's interesting, though, while we're talking about football, what's interesting is jumping over to Deshaun Watson now and his appeal. The NFL Players Association listed the failure of the NFL to suspend owners like Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, Daniel Snyder for alleged sexual misconduct as part of their defense of quarterback Deshaun Watson not being suspended for a whole season. And I got to tell you, they got a point to me. How you going to have an owner like Robert Kraft who illegally got a happy ending? They were in Florida. That's illegal. That's illegal. You can't get sexual favors in a massage parlor in Florida. It's illegal. I mean, and it's just that simple. It's illegal. Doesn't matter if she was consenting. Doesn't matter if he was consenting. It was illegal. He paid for it. It was illegal. Never mind the possible ramifications of sex trafficking, human trafficking, and all that. See, again, that's why when people, believe the women, believe the women, believe the women at all costs, it's just like I talked about the cancel culture thing. It's believe the women until it's somebody that you like and you want to defend. Robert Kraft's just this old man who, lost his wife and he's allowed to do what he wants to do and he's done so much good in the community. No, he broke the law. He broke the law. And he was not punished by the NFL. He wasn't punished by the NFL. Daniel Snyder gets to pick and choose when he's going to sit down for an interview with Congress. He's on a boat in the middle of somewhere where they can't touch him. And this is an owner in the NFL, and you can't force him to sit down for an interview about possible sexual misconduct. And Jerry Jones had an issue with their cheerleaders. They were pimping out their cheerleaders. They were bringing their cheerleaders into, high dollar paying sponsors and ticket holders. That's prostitution. And Jerry Jones didn't get suspended. I dare say they barely investigated it. But the league feels like it is okay for them to drop the hammer on players, but their ownership goes literally untouched. You can't have it both ways. And Jerry Jones's response to it was atrocious. It's just atrocious. So, the Players Association, I think they need to be vigorous on this. They need to do the whataboutism approach. What about Jerry Jones? What about Daniel Snyder? What about Robert Kraft? They got to hammer that home. They've got to hammer that home. They've got to make the arbitrator, address it. They got to make the league address it, because it doesn't work in parenting. Do as I say, not as I do. Doesn't work in parenting. These are grown men. These are not kids. The owners should be held to a higher standard. Roger Goodell's always talking about protecting the shield. What better attack against the shield than to have owners out there running around, sexual assault, sexual misconduct, and prostitution? Help me with that. And I don't want to hear, oh no, he just paid for a blowjob. That's prostitution. He paid for a blowjob. He paid for massage, and in that massage, he knew what he was getting. She didn't just say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to throw in a blowjob. I'm sorry. I think they have a very strong argument. I'm not denouncing or minimizing the women. In fact, I'm speaking more up for women that, whose voices have gone unheard. When will the women in Washington get their justice? When will that young lady down in Florida get her justice against Robert Kraft? When will the cheerleaders in Dallas get their justice? Yeah, I know they settled, but remember what y'all said when they settled, when Deshaun Watson said, that's guilt, right? So then Jerry Jones is guilty. Daniel Snyder is guilty. Vince McMahon is guilty. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, I got to take a break. Come back. We're going to talk Kevin Durant when we come back. Talk Your Team Tuesday right here on the lunch break. Powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV.
Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you, one ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. Somebody just sent me this. It's the comments that Jerry Jones made about the NFL Players Association bringing his name up in their defense of Deshaun Watson. He said it's standard player association comeback. That's the drill. That's the drill to go around and say you didn't punish such and such. Anybody would know that every player case and every case that involves non-players in the NFL are dealing with dramatically different principal facts, which is all the difference in the world. Okay, so owners different, players different. But here's what he said. The personal conduct policy says, listen to this though, the personal conduct policy says ownership and club or league management have traditionally been held to a higher standard and will be subject to more significant discipline when violations of the personal conduct policy occur. The league, though, did not investigate the 2015 voyeurism scandal involving former Cowboys vice president of communications, Rich Dalrymple, which led to a $2.4 million settlement with 4 former Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Nor did they fine Robert Kraft. And yeah, they fined Daniel Snyder, and yeah, they made him step down from operation of the team. But did they punish him? Did the team lose draft picks? What happened? What happened? Yeah, Donna Coleman-Holman is just hitting it. It's just the facts. It's just is what it is. So, I'll just put those things up. I want to throw that out there. Jerry Jones said, yeah, we getting punished more than everybody, and we the owners. So it's standard for them to bring us up. We ain't do nothing. Go sit down. Go find you some glory hole, bro. All right, cornhole. He likes cornhole. All right, anyway. I'm not just making that up. Jerry Jones said that. He said that. I did not say that. So anyway, what's wrong with Kevin Durant? We talk about Herschel Walker and his mental state of mind. What is wrong with Kevin Aloysius Durant? First, Durant was good if, his fellow partner in crime came back, Kyrie Irving. Then it was, I don't want to play with Kyrie. I want out. Trade me immediately. Got about 88 years left on his contract, about 4. Got about 88 years left on his contract. He wants out now. Forced them to trade me. Ownership came back and said, no, we ain't doing that. We'll do it if we get the deal we want, but, until we get the deal we want, you ain't going nowhere. So then, cooler heads prevail. He's thinking, well, we'll run it back with Kyrie and myself and draft picks and free agents and all that. Then it was, I want to be traded to the Miami Heat, but they got to keep these players that I want them to keep. If they can't keep them players, then I don't want to be traded to Miami. Now it's either me or the head coach and the general manager. You're either getting rid of the head coach and the general manager, or you're getting rid of me. Huh? Bruh. Are you kidding me? Like, which one is it? Like, what do you want? And somebody said, well, he told you what he wants. He wants the head coach and the general manager gone or get rid of him. But a few weeks ago, it was something else. And the week before that, it was something else. And the week before that, he was staying. Now it's fire everybody or I'm gone. I wouldn't trade a pickle for Kevin Durant right now. I wouldn't. I want my pickle. I want my pickle, because if you trade your pickle for Kevin Durant, you're going to be without your pickle and you might not get a good Kevin Durant. I'm just the dude is off the chain. And the owner came out and said, listen, the front office, coach and general manager have my full support, and we are going to do what's best for the Brooklyn Net organization. End of discussion. Nothing else needs to be said. Kevin Durant has zero leverage. He can sit out. He'll miss out on his whole salary. I haven't faulted players who've done that. If that's what he wants to do, bless him. Or he can play, and hopefully another team will see him play and see what everything is like, and might decide to make that trade for him next season. But I feel like it's scorched earth. I feel like it's burn it all down. Let me just ruin everything with everybody here in Brooklyn, and then they have to trade me. That's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not saying I know anything, don't have sources, not working with anybody on that. I feel like Kevin Durant is trying the scorched earth approach. Let me tick off the coach. Let me tick off the general manager. And process of doing that, I'll tick off the owner. Let me tell people I don't like Kyrie. He stank. I don't want Ben Simmons. He crazy. I mean, let me just tick everybody off, and ain't nobody going to want me here. It worked for James Harden. That's how he got to Brooklyn. Quiet as it's kept, apparently James Harden and Steve Nash, head coach of Brooklyn, weren't on the same page. Nash is ISO heavy, and his defense leaves a lot to be desired. And if anybody knows that ISO ball doesn't work, it's James Harden. So Harden was unhappy in Houston. Harden was unhappy in Brooklyn. Now Harden's happy in Philly because, he's giving up money so other people can get jobs. So I can't be mad about that. But I feel like Kevin Durant is just, it's just, and I'm not, hear me when I say, I'm not saying he's got to do what they tell him to do. You got options, you got choices. What I say, he can sit out, forfeit his pay. He can play and, not play well, and they get tired and, end up, trying to do something with him. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. Keith Hennig said KD needs Greg Popovich for an attitude adjustment. Let me just say this. I don't know if coaches have the power to change a person's attitude that doesn't want to change it. I think it's a mutual agreement when a player goes to a coach that says whatever he says or does whatever he does. The player's got to agree to accept it. So can Kevin Durant and Greg Popovich coexist? Yeah, if they both agree to. I mean, you got to buy into it. Not everybody bought into Coach K and Duke. Not everybody bought into Phil Jackson. Not everybody bought into Pat Riley. Definitely not everybody bought into Bob Knight. And these were great coaches. John Thompson had, probably one of the most well-run organizations, but there were certain guys that still did not buy into the discipline and the attitude adjustment. And one thing I know is this: Kevin Durant is his own dude. He is his own dude. So I don't know if he's going to get it figured out. I don't know if he'd be able to figure it out under Coach Pop or under somebody else. I don't know. But what I do know, if I'm a general manager, I don't know if I'm bringing that in. Sometimes the talent just doesn't cover all of the drama. It's a risk and reward kind of situation with Kevin Durant now. And I really think he's doing himself a disservice at this point. You know, I still got Kevin Durant as one of the superstars in the NBA. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, period. Not Steph Curry, not Kyrie, not Dame Dollar, not Luka yet. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really concerned about KD. All right, let me wrap it up. Gonna take a final break. Be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E.
This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to show that attainability. I want to show the accessibility of this kind of lifestyle.
From social media to having conversations with friends and family, you always have to put on face and say face.
What brings a smile to my face is the one person that totally believes in me, and that's my beautiful wife, Jody.
I just had to stop because I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And it's like, I have to learn to love myself.
Changing the world one conversation at a time. This is Revelations. If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
Man, I just love that reel. I love that. That's fire. Cole, you got one, bro. Cole Sports is fire, man. I mean it. Man. Keep doing what you're doing. And Snowman, you are the genius when it comes to those reels, man. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing for your brother. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of the BS3 family. Before I go, I want to talk about the top 25 for the FCS, not the FBS, but the FCS. What's crazy to me, and I'm just going to talk about these top 5 real quick. They're all from the same region. Number 1 team preseason is North Dakota State. They were 14-1 last year. Number 2 is South Dakota State, same region. They were 11-4. Number 3, Montana. North Dakota State, South Dakota, Montana, 10-3. Further down, a little bit further down. We get down to the very first team from Texas. That's at number 10, Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin is ranked number 10 in the FCS. And then your very first HBCU is at number 15, Jackson State. They got them listed at number 15 at 11-2. I like that because below them is Southeastern Louisiana. Southeastern Louisiana is the team that beat FAMU in the FCF playoffs last season, but then they had a whole bunch of racial stuff going on, racist comments and bigotry and nonsense going on. So I like that they behind the historically Black college of Jackson State. So Southeastern Louisiana, be best, do better, and you can rise up. The next HBCU on the list is FAMU at number 29. But the team that will probably end up better than them, South Carolina State. South Carolina State is in there near the bottom of the others receiving votes, and then North Carolina A&T. So you've got Jackson State, FAMU, South Carolina State, and then North Carolina A&T. So you got 4 HBCUs that are involved heavily in the FCS rankings. So, hey man, I'm looking for a big season out of Coach Sanders. I'm looking for a big season out of FAMU. Looking for a big season out of Prairie View, and watch Alcorn State. Watch Alcorn State. I think that they're going to compete for to get into that discussion of the SWAC championship game. So let me get ready to wrap it up. Talk Your Team Tuesday is a wrap. Again, I hope I didn't offend anybody. If I did, don't take that to my sponsors. Bring that to me. Y'all know how to reach me, 832-403-5005, 832-403-5005. You can always email me, aj@jonesmediaandent.com. It's aj@jonesmediaent.com. I will respond to your messages. All right. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow. So as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. So meet me here tomorrow for Winning Wednesday. All right. All right. Y'all be blessed. Let's go out with this right here.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. Number 1, the long road to justice has reached an end in the murder of a black man by 3 white men in Georgia. The men convicted of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery that happened February 23, 2020 were sentenced Monday for federal hate crimes. Each of the men was sentenced separately in federal court Monday. During the morning session, 36-year-old Travis McMichael was given a life sentence plus 10 years to be served first in state prison. His 66-year-old father, Greg McMichael, was given the same sentence. Number 2, former President Donald Trump said in a lengthy statement Monday the FBI was conducting a search of his Mar-a-Lago estate and asserted that agents had broken open a safe. The circumstances of the search were not immediately clear. The Justice Department has been actively investigating the discovery of classified information in boxes of records that were taken to Trump's Florida residence after he left the White House in January 2021. There are multiple statutes governing classified information, including a law punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Number 3, Hong Kong authorities are considering implementing a health code system in the city that would restrict the movements of those infected with the coronavirus and overseas arrivals as infections rise again. The system is similar to that of mainland China, in which a red code completely restricts a person's movement. A yellow code is for partial restriction, while a green code means freedom of movement. The colors would appear on Hong Kong's risk exposure app, Leave Home Safe. Number 4, a black man who goes by the handle Bisfitty gave a delineated account of his experience attending a retreat organized by his employer, which was politically incorrectly held at a plantation. Attendees were encouraged to dress in period-appropriate costume ball theme and to join in on the fun. Bisfitty arrived in his Sunday's best as an enslaved person. The fallout within the company for this tone-deaf event was swift, and the employee received a promotion, while the individual who organized the event was terminated. Number 5, you don't have to suffer self-rental rules, which make your rental losses not deductible when you own the property that you rent to your corporation. You can actually benefit from the grouping rules when you have a self-rental. Learn more about it in today's newsletter brought to you by Texas CPA Katrina M. Kraft. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. You are your most vulnerable when you are truly honest with yourself. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Damon Williams, comedian extraordinaire, live from Martha's Vineyard, and political contributor Cameron Riley, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.